Hello, overpowered question mark tubers, and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy 1 Dawn of Souls Modded Balance with me, BlueAnkylo, and our fine party. We're getting ready for the final bonus dungeon. Last episode, although I forgot to show the stats off, we did defeat Shinru, who dropped the Ragnarok, which is a pretty awesome looking weapon, and yeah, the main thing apparently was that you blinded him and stunned him, because he's not resistant to poison or paralyze. And although he's got a lot of magic defense, that doesn't mean anything to a sage. So, yeah, we're learning all about how we can totally kick these bosses to the curb now that we're getting to the very late game. Finally getting some good value out of our status spells, so that's good. I've switched Jade and Beret, so expect some menu misclicks in battle because I'm used to the other order. It was just because Jade ended up with a lot higher physical defense than Beret, so I'd rather the enemies were targeting him because he won't take as bad damage. Yeah, that's pretty sensible, right? Other than that, also this lets you see how close Beret and Melior look to each other. I've got both the red wizards, both the green wizard and there's so many feathers in this party. Anyway, that's it, right? The main thing is we picked up the Hero Shield, which is amazing, and Ragnarok, which is also pretty darn good compared to our previous best weapon. It's like 25, 30 damage higher. That's not bad. Anyway, let's get started. Without further ado, we can talk to this weird Leafian. At least he doesn't go Lupa Lupa. Alright, in we go. Okay, so we start with an Earth Cave looking level. As I said, probably the last time I did this bonus dungeon, this is the bonus dungeon I'm always the least familiar with. You know, nearly 40 random floors. It's hard to remember them all, and I don't do it very often. I still haven't gone back to get that extra angel ring for Beret. I keep thinking about it and just being like, it's too much work. All I gotta do is go down 5 floors in the fire bonus dungeon and kill Barbaricia, or no, 10 floors, I guess, technically. We've also haven't really talked about stat item grinding. There's a couple areas where we can fight enemies that drop a lot of mind boosters or strength boosters. And if you wanted to do that, it's probably not too hard. Still getting slowed by friggin' imps with like 5 intelligence. But yeah, anyway, you could certainly do that. I know we've had a couple comments on stuff like that, but it's just not something I really want to do. Okay, so we need to find a kid's black hair. Alright. Remember that we started in the church-looking building. South of the orange building. I wonder if these are always the same every time, or if the teleporters are all randomized. I bet you it's kind of like, how all the other random maps are randomized. There's like, they're not strictly speaking random, there's just a set of different connections, and you get one of those sets randomly. Well, there's the black-haired kid. How we get there, no one knows. I never really have a good strategy for these teleporting mazes. Okay, we found the black-haired kid. Oh, look, and it took us right back here. That was really convenient. Alright, that wasn't too bad, honestly. Yeah, I don't really have a great strategy, so if you're struggling with that map, my suggestion is just keep going through doors. You'll get there eventually. You can do it. Believe in yourself. That's it. That's my advice. Just believe in yourself. Keep at it, son, or daughter, brother, friend. I don't know. I just call you guys tubers all the time. That's all I got. Oh, look! Melior is almost dead again. I didn't even notice. You blink and he loses all his HP. Oh yeah, so, right. Last episode, I forgot about this completely. Last episode, I began doing kind of a class review for all the different characters in this. Different classes we're using. We went over Victus, Beret, and Jade. I think I don't know if I finished Jade's, but essentially, if you're following along in real time, all I was saying about Jade was he's good and maybe too good. maybe like Paladin tier good, and that's pretty awesome. So before we go into Melior, let's have a look at the final shop where they just sell hero shields. That's kind of dumb. I'm sorry, but that's kind of dumb. We can go 3 floors into a very easy dungeon after you kill Tiamat and just buy these. It's too good to be that easy to get. Anyway, Assassin's Dagger was something rare. I guess we should buy the Holy Staff to see if it does anything. That's all they got. It's kind of a shame. So let's sell something. I mean, most of these things we can buy back if we ever really want them. I don't know if I can ever buy a mirror plate, though. I know we can buy Aegis Shield somewhere. We can buy all the diamond stuff for sure. Protect rings aren't that hard to get. We might not be able to buy ribbons. I know we can buy Giant's Gloves, but I want to hold on to those. And I know we can buy these. And I'm pretty sure we can buy a full set of crystal as well, so... If any of those things ever come up, we can buy some more. And now we can afford a Holy Staff. And I don't really care about the dagger. I mean, I guess we could buy it just to see if it has any spells. Why not? Okay, just to check. 75 intelligence. Has a lot of stats. Does not have intelligence, though. So we definitely want the Judgment Staff. As far as I can tell, that's the best Sage intelligence buffing we can get. It did give us the... sorry to say, the Holy Staff did give us some other stats, evasion, accuracy. So it's agility and evasion, and probably agility and maybe just agility, but whatever. I'm not going to worry about it. So that's the only actual building you can go into in this town. So, well, sorry, there's 2. There's the inn and there's that. So you can rest up. This is usually not a floor you want to get early on, unless you want to buy a hero shield, I guess. But usually you want to see that in like the 30s, right before you get to the end. Alright, so, Openy Earth Cave, let's see. Oh yeah, I should try out the Holy Staff to see if my money is worth anything. Does this stuff do anything? Did we just waste our money? Assassin's Dagger does something. And the Holy Staff does something else. Oh, it casts Death. So does the Holy Staff, is that the same... Wait, is that the one... Wait. Did I just buy something that I threw away last time? Is that what we got out of Omega and I totally forgot? Yep, that cast Life 1. We just spent 60 grand on a piece of junk. We buy 100 Phoenix Downs for that. I'm sure that would last longer. Well, at the very least, now we have basically free casts of... I'm pretty sure it's the rub spell, or whatever they've turned it into. Death. Because there used to be, like... They called it... What was it? XXXX, and then they turned it to kill. But I think they got rid of that spell, so it can't be that. That was the spell that basically was guaranteed, sort of, unless they were resistant to death. But, like, sort of guaranteed death if they were under a certain total of... current HP, like 300 or 350. So, I don't think that spell's in the game. All the, sort of power word spells from the Dungeons & Dragons, I think they all got cut out for this, this mod, I think. It's also probably fair because all the enemies have so much more HP. Only killing an enemy with under 300 HP just doesn't do anything, because they probably have thousands now. I know it's current HP, but by the time you get them down to, like, they only have 300 HP left, they're probably already dead anyway, right? Like, when you can do an attack with Ragnarok for 1,000 damage, that last 200 just doesn't really matter much, because you'll probably be fine. But you can see why it's so important to have status death protection, right? Like, look how much death magic these stupid elementals do. Alright, floor 8. I don't remember this floor at all. I'm gonna say that every floor. I just say that every time. I don't... floor 9, it's icy. I don't remember this at all. Sort of remember these big rooms. I think this is the wrong way, technically. like, silver dragons aren't too bad anymore. Oh, it is this way. Oh, it's the reverse, it's like that ice cave floor. Yeah. Alright, floor 10 will be our first boss of the bonus dungeon. Welcome. You guys remember what this one is? I should be playing Final Fantasy VI music today, but I was not smart enough to prepare that in advance for every different bonus dungeon, because that would have been kind of nice. So let's see if how much stronger the Typhon has gotten. This was one of those fights in the original vanilla Dawn of Souls that was never very scary, but we'll see. Oh right, see, people are backwards now. Enchant is here, haste is here. That's my usual setup. And then we're going to use Lightbringer, because I think this guy just basically sneezes, which is probably Death Elemental. So if we can protect against that with Null Magic, we should do that. If that's what it does. We're off to a great start. All those buffs down the drain. Alright, well let's try to enchant up Beret, because why not? Gotta do something. Snort, you're dead. Alright, he does do physical attacks. They don't seem so bad so far. Alright, let's try this again. Enchant, magical enchantment, haste, and Lightbringer. Sure does a lot of damage when he's not dead. Alright, theoretically we might be protected from murder. That's what we want to be protected from. Why don't we try Stomp? Why don't you just attack? Why don't we try Blind? Blind failed us. Stomp worked, so he's been stunned. Classic. Let's keep trying to get Blind on him. Why not? Oh, like it matters. 5,500 damage with the Ragnarok. Down he goes. We get ourselves a Rune Staff, which I believe we've had before. And then, or maybe I didn't. It's probably not going to be better, but let's just check it out. 75. 70. So it's a +5, but we already got a +10, I think. So Judgment still wins. And we'll find out what spell that casts, I guess. Because I don't remember. It used to be Heal a Ra, which was quite awesome a Ra. But if it's only something lame now, then it's single target. That's not a good start. That'll be Cura. Definitely not as good as Heal a Ra. Oh, you know, speaking of that, remember, like, I've been holding on to a lot of random staves. This one just casts Heal 1. How's that for us? 80 to 90 HP. It's not probably very relevant these days. I could probably sell it if I wanted to. I do notice I'm fighting a lot of new enemies down here that I've probably never seen before. So I should probably pay them some attention. Now, let's continue. Oh, wait, that's a weapon we've never bought. So the Enhancer is relatively low damage, but it probably buffs your intelligence. So, like, if I wanted to do less physical attacks here, what would our stats look like? 49 intelligence. That's a +7. That's not bad. If you wanted to focus your battle mage on magic rather than physical hits, that's actually probably pretty good to use if we're fighting a boss or something. Good to know. So we got a random drop from one of those new enemies, I suppose. The Wind bonus dungeon is the one where you started typically getting good random drops from the rare enemies as you got lower down. Some of the hard-to-get treasures you could get just from being lucky on fights. Ooh, too many thunderbolts there. Gotta be careful. Mega Elixirs, well, I'll never cry about those. It's too good to use Syndrome, so it's gonna sit around and we'll never use it until we'll just never use it, you know, like, No matter how bad it is, it could always be worse, so you gotta hold on to them for later. But, for serious, they are quite valuable. I mean, the less rare they are, actually, the more you would use them. It's when you only get 1 or 2 per game when you're like, oh, I gotta save it. That's kind of the trouble with rarity in video games. If you make things really rare, then people start thinking, any like, experienced gamer starts thinking, well, you start metagaming a little bit. You're like, well, what if the only reason that's added is so that we can defeat a super boss later on? So I better hold on to it just in case. I'll really need it later more. And, whatever the intended use, if there even was one, it doesn't matter because you just hold on to it and then you never find the right situation to use it in. I have been trying overall to be better with that in video games, especially modern gaming. Just use your items. This like actually makes a lot of the game easier, but I don't know. It's less hardcore, I guess. I guess this is basically the waterfall level, except with terrible yellow dragons everywhere that thunderbolt us and make me heal every battle. I thought we were past this, guys. We had a couple bonus dungeons where I didn't have to heal between every single battle. It was nice. But now here we are in the final bonus dungeon where every battle I have to go to the menu. Remember when people were just stun locked? Like, someone would be stunned or poisoned every encounter and I'd have to go use the items for it? That was not better. And now we're at the point where I have to go do that half the time, or 3/4, I don't know. Some percentage of the time. More than what I would like. I quite enjoyed the water temple where we didn't have to do that very often. Yeah, I never remember the names of these places. Blue, if you want to learn something about BlueAnkylo, he's not great at remembering names. It's not his strength. Oh yeah, so remember, speaking of remembering, remember how I was doing like a character review for all the different classes? I didn't get to the Sage yet. I was talking about him, I just didn't get to him. So, the Sage. Got the stop to work, that's pretty good. I figured the Tigers would probably be fairly weak to statuses. So what do I think about Sages in this game? Well, they do get all the magic. It takes a while, but they get it all. They can have pretty good intelligence, although I'm pretty sure it's about the same, or maybe even less, than the pure Black Wizard, which we don't have, the Jade's brother. They're probably slightly better at pure raw numbers. Like, if you really just want to go by maximum damage flare, maximum % chance of stop, or X-Zone, probably the pure Black Wizard class, the name I forget. That's probably the way to go. But Melior does have access to all the white magic as well. The trouble is, and I find this is kind of often the problem with mixed casters, you know, when you've got one level with 8 good spells, and you can only learn, like, 3 of them, it's like you're sacrificing something because you've only got one person focusing on them. So what kind of happens is, because Jade can only learn black magic in our situation, he learns the primary black spells I want to learn, and then Melior fills in the rest with white and a couple black. And that just makes him fill in whatever that role is in the party. So, like, if you had the white mage version or white wizard version, whatever their names all are, again, I forget all those names. Then I'm sure Melior would have a lot more focus on... We're about to die here, actually. We'd have a lot more focus on black magic, so he could sort of bounce between whichever sort of spells spellcaster you were lacking in your party. The thing is, I'm pretty sure having one dedicated black and one dedicated white would still be better overall. In fact, like, there's nothing wrong with the Sage class. I think it's pretty good. It's weaker physically. So that's why, like, the Red Wizard and the White Wizard classes, they're both more defensive. They get better HP, better defense, better armor in general. In fact, the White Wizard is, like, surprisingly tanky, a lot like how Jade is. So if you bring that, you've got, like, a second row White Wizard. You could probably get away with it. Like, so my suggestion for potentially the strongest party in Mod of Balance, not counting the 4 that I still haven't used, the Thief, Monk, Enchanter, and Master, those 4 that I still haven't used. Dang it, the encounter rate is just ridiculous. I kind of think the strongest party might be Paladin, whatever the pure White Wizard is, the pure Black Wizard, and a Sage? Maybe. That cuts out our Battle Mage, though, who is really good. So maybe instead of a Sage, put a Battle Mage in. You'd get a pure White with all the White magic, a pure Black with all the Black magic, and a Black Wizard Fighter hybrid. And that would give you 3 characters with really high defense, because the pure White Wizard, not the Enchanter, the other one, whatever it's called, it would have a ton of defense and all the white stuff. And Jade, the Battle Mage, would have all the black magic and black defense, but not maximal intelligence. So if you had a secondary pure Black Mage, they could focus on kind of Melior's role we've had, except they'd still have more defense than Melior. They would just lose out on the white magic. So you'd only have, well, technically, actually, the way that would work out, the Paladin would be your secondary White Wizard, because they learned a lot of white magic for kind of all the stuff Beret does. You'd have a pure White Wizard for amazing Healaguz and all that stuff. And then you'd have 2 Black Wizards. So you'd have so much magic, and almost all of your party would be very strong in melee and defense. Like, there would be very few weak links on that party, and that's... so far. And I mean, that is technically, we're cutting out, like, the Monk-type classes and the Thief and the Ninja and stuff. But I wasn't terribly impressed with the Ninja or the Monk or the Master from what I experimented with. So unless the Thief really surprised me, I don't know how these guys could match up to the power of magic, basically. And especially as we get later in the game, and I'm like, you know, it turns out statuses are actually way stronger than I originally anticipated. It just sort of proves that, like, actually what I meant to do was X-Zone here, and Thundiga here, in case it doesn't kill anything. I want to see how, if now that we're getting to a higher level, I want to see if X-Zone actually has a reasonable chance of just killing difficult enemies. I mean, Thundiga is always going to do pretty good damage on these guys, but X-Zone, theoretically... 2 for 3 is not terrible, I guess. And we got some more levels up. But yeah, I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. Oh, we used all our high potions. Holy smokes. We've taken more damage in this dungeon than ever before. Or I'm just being really lazy. That's probably it. Well, I guess we'll just throw a Healaguy in and use Ethers from now on. Anyway, yeah, that's... At the moment, that's my potential for strongest Mod of Balance class, or composition, party comp. Again, things might change if the mod gets updated and they rebalance things, of course. If you're watching this in a couple years and you're... I think I'm playing 3.0, technically. If you're watching in the future and you're on version 10.0, for instance, I would expect things to be different, because maybe they nerfed some of this stuff, but, you know, whatever. You can only deal with what I'm dealing with right now. Like, at the moment, I'm pretty confident that that's probably the strongest party I could come up with at the moment. It would be pretty crazy. Okay, we got ourselves the second boss. Well, at least we've got a fair amount of ethers left over. Well, imagine if they added, like, the Osmos spell that you could just drain MP from battles. Wouldn't that be awesome? Maybe that's what the Sage needs. If he had a unique spell like Osmos that would let him re-top up his magic spells, his magic power, then his weak fragility and his difficulty selecting 3 out of 8 for every level, that would actually work out. That would be a good balance for him. I mean, you have to add another spell, but whatever. Okay. Orthos. Correctly named Ultros. So, how do I want to tackle this guy? He's probably got a fair bit of physical damage, kind of like the Kraken. So we should be, instead of going offensive like I'm going, this is probably not smart. But, like, I'm also like, well, what if he was susceptible to being stunned? Also, he did 50 damage. That's nothing. Stun, turned 1. Alright, so we're gonna change tactics here a little bit. Because, I mean, I keep talking about all these statuses, right? And I'm like, if that's how it works, then that's how we're gonna roll with it. Let's see if we can get him blind as well. Not that he's gonna last very long at this rate. The fact that you can stun him, so he can't do anything, and that also gives your fighter higher damage, like, oof. We never really got debuffs on Beret, right? That's because their intelligence sort of protected. But yeah, that stun spell seems pretty good. I mean, he did 5,000 damage even though he wasn't stunned. Like, that's... Ortho's got 1 attack in. That's not very good for him. So Beret could technically use a power vest. I didn't really talk about this one. If you want to go sacrifice defense for offense, this is probably the kind of thing your black belts are going to try to wear, or your masters, or whatever they're called. Probably no status protection and low defense, so a little bit risky, but maybe worth it. Alright, 20 floors down. Not 3 doors over, but it's going to take a while. Death Manticore! Please don't kill us all. Okay, Blaze only did 60 to 80, maybe? Enough to be annoying, but not enough to slow me down. Can't slow this Ankylo down. These guys again, same kind of damage range, Thunder. Soma drops. We're getting lots of those in this dungeon. That's kind of nice. Now that we're at the end of the game, basically, now it's nice to get all the stat uppers. Should have used a Heliga there. Lazy. I hope I'm going the right direction here, because this is like a big dungeon. I feel like I made a wrong turn. Got a luck plus. It might be the first one we got of those. I don't know who needs the luck. I don't know what luck... Luck is magic resistance, basically, right? So a little bit of luck gives him a little bit of resistance. That's probably the way to go. If I remember correctly. Not in the Dawn of Souls, like... In the vanilla version, that's not correct, but in the mod, I believe that was a change. They tried to make luck more useful. So any of these new enemies we're running into could theoretically drop some pretty cool loot. Like Sage's Miter. Yeah, thank you for accommodating my request. Did I go the wrong way right from the beginning? Oh, Knockers. I don't think we fought these guys yet either. So they have a really annoying ability that does magic damage, apparently. Alright, X Zone it is. Key Strike, that's instant death, and death protection doesn't protect you from it, I believe. So this is great, we're all gonna die to friggin' imps. Luckily, they probably have low magic defense. Revenants, let's see. Bone Snatch. Blood Gygus, Knockers, there they are. Yeah, very low magic defense, weak to lots of stuff. So you gotta just hit them with, time magic, honestly. Stop would work. If Zap, or whatever that was called, if that's considered time, it just kills them all for sure. That's X Zone, or what do they call it? X Zone, yeah. Alright, that's probably the way we'll want to handle those then, that's fine. Because if they're going to have access to instant death, no way to protect against it magic, we need a way to deal with them quickly. So I went, like, left... Wow, the exit was right by where we started. Alright, where are we going in Ice Cave 5.0? Not bad, that was good routing. What about Marsh Cave 20.7? Oh, look at this! Alright, this is the treasure dungeon. So if you want to get all the good loot, this is the one where you clear it all up. I like this one a lot more than the floating island in, You know what? Beret actually heals reasonably well now at the late end of the game. 42 intellect isn't bad for healing. I guess we'll go fight the the king and queen up here because maybe they'll drop something interesting. I haven't actually seen them as random encounters yet, so maybe these guys are unique. Not that strong. Did he? I killed him so fast I don't even know if he dropped anything. I guess we could find out pretty easy. The Pharaoh. He can drop some Ichimojis. He was not very strong. What about your wife? Oh, it's just a plain old vanilla devil wizard. We already know they drop like something or other, Sage's Miter, right? Yeah, I find as much as you have to fight a few battles on this floor, not having to go through an invisible floating staircase that starts you over again every time you fall off, it's just so much better. Like, I'd rather do a couple random encounters like this than have to worry about watching every step I take. And we did get a couple halfway useful items, to be honest. Power pluses are... They might be useful on a certain final boss we're getting close to. Might make it to today. And then I can at least say I got all 10 treasures from one floor of this dungeon. And if there was like a rare armor item. Hey, look, a Braveheart was here. So I must have been wrong. They still kept the random rare gear in the modded bonus dungeons. I don't know how you'd ever follow, because I used to basically need a guide to even have a chance at knowing what levels, like what you're going to get down here. Without access, like with the way it's been randomized, like, or not randomized, but with the change, I don't even know where you'd start. Like, you'd never know where to go to get, if you're looking for something in specific, how to get it. Okay, so we did pick up Power Plus for Mr. Victus, and a Golden Apple for Melior. About it. I guess it is fair to say that as much as Victus does the most damage, part of it is because we fed him a lot of Power Pluses. Probably 10 or 12 by now, I figure. Probably not more than 10. Maybe 5 to 10. But that certainly will add to his damage. Oh, good. The beavers. Okay, 4 to the right, 1 to the left. It's not terribly hard. 1 left. Done. 1 right. 2 right. Random encounter to mess up your count. Random encounter to mess up your count. 3 to the right, 4 to the right. That should be all. Alright. And down we go. I don't remember how to get through this floor. Luckily, the encounters are giving me a bit of a breather. So what else is there to talk about? I mean, okay, so I gave you guys kind of a review of my 4 classes and kind of my pick for maybe my preferred optimal party. Possibly. Again, I haven't actually tried the last 4. But the other thing I was going to do for the mod of balance was to talk about the mod of balance overall and how I feel about the redesign of it. And I have to say, overall, I love it. Dawn of Souls, I mean, Final Fantasy 1 for the NES is one of my favorite games. It's a classic, all-time favorite. It's not aged amazingly well, but not too badly. And there's been a lot of randomizers fixing bugs and, you know, breathing new life into it. It's really good. So I'm really happy to see all that. The Dawn of Souls remake was always an easier version of that game. And I always thought it was nice as a sort of casual game. Like, I felt like the unmodded Dawn of Souls is really fun if you just want to sit back and, like, on the Game Boy Advance, literally in your hand, just play through an RPG that's not particularly difficult, simple enough, but still relatively complicated. Like, it's compared to some RPGs, this is the reason why Final Fantasy 1 was so successful. It's actually got some relatively good depth to it. So yeah, like, I've always thought it was a great game. The mod of balance definitely takes it a little bit out of the casual gaming and a little bit more into the closer to hardcore. There's been a few, like, for instance, the way they added abyss worms and yellow dragons so that you're basically dead if you run into them in the first bonus dungeon, those kind of, like, you know, dick move encounters, pardon my French, that's the kind of stuff that Dawn of Souls would never have had. Like, they did technically have, oh, nuke on Flare Guy, I guess. Oh, but weak nuke, okay, good. This is a new enemy, I haven't seen this guy before. Pardon me for a second while we deal with these guys. But yeah, having, basically encounters that end your run in a bonus dungeon is not... I mean, it's probably something the NES was famous for, doing the ice cave, running into 20 wizards and just being killed instantly, because it was unrunnable. It's really the unrunnable battles that are too strong for your current party. That's where people really get, I feel, caught up. And that's kind of what still caught me up, is, hey, this is a double yellow dragon, you're level 20. Basically, you have no chance, you're dead. That kind of stuff, it's truer to the original game, no doubt about it. But it also, adding stuff like that, I'm sure, what's the word I'm looking for? But it filters your audience. There's going to be a fair number of gamers that are just going to look at that and be like, that is stupid, I'm never playing that game again. And that's, I mean, it's okay. Not everyone has to like every game. You don't want to, if you're familiar with the way Longward did the mod for the XCOM Enemy Unknown, right? It's fine. There's always going to be a market for people who want things hard. Just keeping in mind that the more you do that, the more people you cut out, because there's a lot of people that just want to play the game for fun and they don't really want to deal with bull crap. So anyway, modded balance, I don't think it goes too far. Like, don't get me wrong. But it definitely goes in that direction, and I mean, I've been using save states to sort of mitigate that a little bit. If you're not willing to use save states because you think it's cheating, you'll have a bit harder time. If you're willing to do more cheating, of course, that if you call it cheating, but you know, there's other ways to make things easier. We'll talk more about the overall balance once I get through Phantom Train and assumedly Death Gaze at some point. If we get that far. But yeah, overall, like, I don't think it's too hard. It's definitely harder, and it takes a different kind of, you gotta be playing it with a different mindset than just casually having some fun kind of thing. I guess we better just start with stun on everything now, because if it works, it makes it so much easier. Yep. I bet you that's gonna get, like, please, don't tell him how amazingly strong this is, because, like, that's basically the modder, that is to say. That's basically all it takes to get a nerf, is to show him stun locking all the final super bosses. Be like, oh, okay, we're gonna need to have a look at that. Once you find out you can just cast stun on anything and they can't hurt you anymore, you can just do 7,000 damage. We're not even fully buffed up or anything at this point. We're just tearing them up. Yeah, I feel like the bosses were better when I didn't do that. Remember how difficult Omega and Atomos were when I didn't know you could just stun lock them forever? Like, they were probably better fights than just doing this. Like, this is hilarious. I love it. This is great, but, like, this is requiring relatively advanced knowledge of the game. It's buffing that intellect really high, and then using a spell that specifically targets one... Like, I don't know the odds, but I would be willing to bet that although Stop is perhaps Time Elemental and stops all enemies and is level 8, I bet you against a single target, Stun is a higher % base chance, because it's a weaker... Like, you're not hitting everybody, you're just hitting one target with Paralyze, and it's probably not Time, which is a more OP element to resist. Like, lots of people resist Paralyze, not a lot of people resist Time. But Stun still works just fine. Anyway, that was kind of almost sad. Hey, we could get some crystal rings out of these guys. We got Blood Tigers, we got Death Manicores, Flare Gygus, Devil Wizard, Phantom Train. 10,000 HP. He's not supposed to be a super difficult boss, but I mean, he never got a turn. And I guess he doesn't resist Paralyze. I don't know how you balance it. I guess bosses probably just need protection from all status elements. And if you can't give them, like, 100% guarantee status protection, if that's the tweak to the balance that's happened, like, no longer does the ribbon give you basically perfect protection. If resistance doesn't do that anymore, then I don't know how you balance it around characters that are really good at stunning enemies, because they're gonna stun them, and that's... I mean, what other RPG have you played where you can just cast a relatively mid-level spell on some of the end-game bosses and then just basically trivialize the entire fight? I don't think that happens too often for a couple reasons. Hey, some plants from the earth. Hello, plants from the earth. Looks like they're not too good against Ragnarok. Makes sense. So, now that Phantom Pain is out of the way, let's talk about the overall mod a little bit more. So yeah, like I was saying, man, we're getting all the rare enemies now. I think they're probably not as rare as they used to be. If I had given Stop and X-Zone to Melior or a pure Black Mage with, again, 80 intelligence, these fights would be a joke. I'd just X-Zone everything. Actually, they're pretty strong. I give them... Take it back. They're pretty tough. Maybe I should be doing that. But, yeah, basically, overall mod review stuff, we're all dead. We lose. Game over. Pretty much. I didn't save it. I'm gonna have a bite out of my hat here. So what just happened? We ran into a random Hydra enemy that I didn't know anything about. That's got an attack more powerful than bosses. And I need them to not attack me for a couple turns, or else we're dead, basically. Like, I don't think I've saved it terribly recently. No. Wow. So 3 of Tomato Orochis. Basically stronger than any boss we've run into thus far. If you don't take them seriously. Did I save? Well, good. We saved right before this fight. Alright, well. I guess you get to see this again. Sorry, guys. I was caught completely off guard. That was not even close. So, again, that's where we talk about, like, the difficulty up in this mod. That's the kind of thing you would never have run into in the vanilla game. There was certainly difficult enemies. Those enemies were in the base game, but they didn't have the same setup of ridiculous, like, overpowered magic spells that they just taunt you with constantly. Or even if they did, they would only have given you 1 of them. You'd never run into 3 at the same time. So, for whatever reason, that got me. Now, I just did this floor. Do I remember how to get out of it? Oh, good. They're here as well. Okay, so we're gonna have to start with something ridiculous. Like, I have to assume they're just gonna kill us all immediately. Blaze is pretty bad, but, I mean, if I heal a guy every turn, we're safe. If I can get Stop off, we're doing okay. I think as long as we don't... I think what really caught me off guard was that they just dealt so much damage with 3 of them that by the time we even killed one, we were basically over. Like, these guys are more resistant to stun than the Phantom Train. Yeah, they've got all, like, these guys... Let's have a look at their stats. These guys would give Chaos a run for his money, I think. So they have not as much HP as Dawn of Souls Chaos, but more than the vanilla NES Chaos. And they are resistant to everything. And more than the Phantom... Like, these guys, I think, less HP, but they're actually stronger than the bosses we've been fighting because they resist all the statuses, so they actually have a chance to not get stun locked. That's crazy. I'm gonna have to put a couple more saves down every now and then, because I don't want to have to redo a whole lot of content here. Anyway, I don't detest adding stuff like that in to the mod. We are in the final bonus dungeon. I assume you should give us the most difficult encounters you can for this dungeon, right? Like, that's not terrible. But man, is it not casual anymore? But I mean, I guess, honestly, overall, I kind of dig it, right? Like, what else can I say but, like, well, that caught me off guard while I was just rambling to YouTube. I guess I better pay attention to the game I'm playing. I guess that makes it a better game, you know, like, what are you supposed to say, right? Like, if you can just autopilot through it and not pay any attention, it's probably less good. So, anyway, obviously, overall review, less good for casual gamers, but I think casual gamers could still get through it, and maybe just skip the bonus dungeons, and they'd be probably fine. The rest of the game is still harder, but it's hard for me to say, because I'm such a NES veteran. Like, I don't know how many times I've played these games, but, you know, a lot. So, they're pretty much... I feel like these kinds of mods are kind of... They're built for players like us, like me, and maybe you guys watching along that are kind of familiar with the series. If you were a new player to Final Fantasy or just RPGs, this is probably not the right first game. I would still say play the unmodded vanilla Dawn of Souls, which is easy, like unarguably easy. That would be a much better intro, and then if you like it, this is your difficulty up mod that also adds... It adds some complexity with the statuses. Because it's harder, you have to think more, right? Like, if everything's super easy, you can just hold A to win, and then why bother worrying about complicated strategies like buffing your max HP to survive Omega when you could just hold A to win kind of thing. Although, to be fair, Omega was still pretty tough in the vanilla game. Like, just don't try it without a white wizard, basically. But, what else was I saying? So yeah, I think I've gone around and around enough, but like, I'm pretty happy with the difficulty upgrade overall. Even if sometimes I complain a little bit, going like, "Wow, that's really tough. What are these guys thinking?" Well, honestly, with the way stun works on those bosses, there's probably stuff that's still too easy. Actually, like the way statuses have been rebalanced, a really strong intelligence black mage can kind of break the game. And, I don't know, maybe that's by design, but I assume that's a little bit overpowered, personally. Oh, I should kill these guys. I don't think we've ever killed a poison eagle. I think the exit's on the left middle of this room, and I just went the wrong way. Squidrikins! These guys used to drop a nice, wand or staff for your white wizards that was quite valuable. So I came back to do a stamina plus. Oh, you know what? I haven't tried the rune axe yet. What does it do? Yeah. I mean, again, like, I'm not going to give this, like, a bad review or anything. I'm definitely enjoying my time. I was just trying to compare difficulties and stuff and decide. A lot of it is just rambling while I'm trying to decide if I like it harder or not. And I think I do. I probably wouldn't play this mod every time I want to play Final Fantasy 1. Sometimes I'll want to do the NES experience. Sometimes I'll want to do the easy Game Boy Advance experience, where you just sort of chill and blast through, and it's all good. But I definitely think I'll add it to my sort of rotation of, like, well, maybe I want to try out a new party composition that's not in the vanilla game. Because the vanilla game, 6 classes, choose 4 out of 6. You know, that's quite a lot of options. But this one, you get 12 options, and that's, there's more, someone did the math on episode 1. There's a lot more potential ways of making your party, basically. So that's pretty cool. I would say that's an upgrade. Yeah, I mean, we're already like 50 minutes into this episode. What else can we say? That's why I like to end episodes. You know, every now and then I get a comment like, "Blue, why are you complaining about going over half an hour? I love long episodes. Just record until your heart stops." You know, as funny as it is, it's almost just a joke. Like, seriously, you kind of run out of stuff to talk about. You start an episode strong, you know what you want to go about, you know what you want to say, and then by the end of it, you're like, after like 30 or 40 minutes of talking, I'm like, well, I don't know what else. What do you want to talk about? We're doing the same thing. You know, we're fighting the same enemies. Sometimes these dungeons get a bit grindy, so try to take your mind off the grind. I'm not like a born and bred comedian. I'm not going to sit here listing off silly jokes. That's not my style. Enjoying the music? We got Final Fantasy IV playing in the background. I think we've been in this dungeon so long that the soundtrack's already started to repeat, unfortunately. Unless you really like it, then it's very fortunate. Oh yeah, Sekhmets! I remember these guys, they used to be really dangerous. Remember the first time we run into these Sekret guys and they, like, killed us, basically? Kind of like those snake things. These snake hydras. This will be the last difficult floor of this dungeon, I think. We're on floor 36, and this one, it just takes a while to find the exit. It's not as bad as the fire bonus dungeon world map, but it still takes a little while to get through. Oh, and then this one. Alright, well, I have to focus on this a bit. So let's stop weird commentary. Let's focus on the dwarf trade quest. This guy, he needs a key, I believe, if I can translate dwarf. He needs some medicine. Medicine at the top, and then a key. He wants an instrument, so medicine, key, music. And this guy wants some weird parts or something. I always mix up a couple. Medicine, key, parts. And then on this side, that's the whisker. Wants some food. He wants a signature, I believe. He wants pickaxe or something, if I remember correctly. Oh boy, this is where I start forgetting everything. It's just too many things to remember. He wants just boring tools. The one that wants a cogwheel is the canal guy, I think. Alright, so we get some food. Okay, I think I know where to go for the food. Power plus. Yeah, we're actually getting relatively good stat uppers in this dungeon, which is... It's kind of a little bit too late for it to really matter much, but still nice. Alright, you were not hungry. You were hungry. Alright, next up. An ocarina. That's your instrument. That was... this one? At the top? It was on the left side, I remember that much. Come on, talk to me. He's sick. He doesn't care. Doesn't care. Why do these dwarves not care about me? Apparently, the instrument was not on the left side, and I'm completely wrong. Memory is gone. Well, shoot. So... He gave me the instrument. Who did I... Was he the guy on the bottom right? Did I miss this guy? Nope. I've probably talked to every dwarf but the one I need to talk to now. It was the one in the left. I just missed this guy in this room. Great. Alright, so we got a cogwheel. I forget who wanted the cogwheel. It was the guy that talked about the canal, probably. There, this guy. Perfect. I knew it. Pickaxe. Was that what this guy wanted? No. He wants his key, I think. This is how to watch BlueAnkylo flail around for getting... He gave me the tasty Karobo, whatever a Karobo is. Probably a dwarven... I don't know, they probably would eat like haggis or something, right? They're stereotypical Scottish. Isn't that the idea with this? Hey, he wanted a pickaxe. And we got an autograph. Okay, which one was the, there, perfect, perfect. And this is the medicine. Perfect, nope. Sick guy is, no, sick guy is up here. Of course, the dwarves left rocks around to make your walk even more annoying. Thanks, dwarves. Here's your medicine, alright. Got some smith tools. Some smithin' tools. You're playing music. Got him. Is it this guy? Yeah. There's only a couple left. It gets easier. The closer you get to the end, the easier it gets, because there's less possible options. Token of friendship. Alright, and then that was this guy? Alright, we're done. Look at that. We started off a little slow, but in the end, we powered right on through. Alright, eat your ruby. Get out of the way, Titan. Okay, this one's easy in the sense that all we do is just talk to a bunch of things and do a couple battles. I'm not going to read it all because I got better things to do on my super long video. Although that's the kind of content that would fill up a 1-hour video much more professionally, is doing some voice acting. We had some jokes on the Lufia series about how I was supposed to be making my 108 stars of voice acting to break into the voice acting industry. That's my plan. Let's playing and pretending to be cartoon characters. If I thought my voice was good enough, that's the kind of thing I probably would actually have some fun with. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't sound like something I'd be good at. Blue, don't sell yourself short. Do anything you just do. Be who you want to be. Do what you want to do. Don't let your memes be dreams. I don't know. You know how it is. All right. Hey, we stand right on the. Oh, good. We got the other. Okay, so there's technically a shop here, or 3, and I want to see if there's anything good. It's from the Red Wizards. This is one of them. All right, cool. So we can buy Protect Cloaks. I'm gonna buy a couple Protect Cloaks. Don't need any of these. Although an extra white robe would be kind of useful. Actually, I'm gonna buy an extra white robe. That lets us stack up a round of, well, assuming you're not stun locking the final boss. This would let us put up Protect quicker on the whole team by having more of those. That's kind of cool. We could also learn all the normal spells, black and white magic, if we wanted to, but I'm pretty happy with my spell selection, so we're not going to change that. But I would like to see if there's any interesting weapons in the weapon shop. Because the modder changed all these sorts of things. Alright, we've got the weapon shop. So we get extra wizard staff, extra Mjolnirs, extra priests, flame, light. The only thing that would be useful was having 2 people casting blind, but I don't think I need that. More free lightning 2 is nice. More free heal 1 is okay. Free flame 1 is pretty bad. Light axe is probably Dia, but I forgot to test it out. So that's 2 shops. I think there's like going to be an item shop from the last one, or some sort of other selection, right? Is it there? I'm pretty sure there's 3, but maybe it was just 2. I don't know. Well, I feel like I tried to talk to all of them. Found the weapon shop and the armor shop. And maybe that's it. I don't know for sure if there's even another shop. Because there's always all the black magic from the various levels. Like, this is a cool floor. I've always kind of liked this floor in the sense that it lets you reset all your magic right at the end of the game if you want, in a nice, somewhat convenient location. I mean, finding the correct levels might take a little bit of fiddling, but... Alright, well... I feel like I've probably fairly thoroughly checked all the red wizards again. And the white wizards just sell white magic, and the black wizards just sell black magic. Alright. Oh yeah, we can use the inn. That's nice. I kind of forgot that there even was an inn in this town, honestly. Alright, final floor. Let's do this. So, do I care about equipping... See, the Protect Cloak... It was mostly on Melior, because the Elven Cloak gives him defense, but no status protection, and he's missing some statuses. So the Protect Cloak would give him... Let me just look it up quick. It'll only take a second. Death, Sleep, and Time protection. For less defense. But his Light Robe gives him probably some of that. I don't know. I'll give it to him because I think status is probably the most important. Although, to be fair, he does have the highest... He's over 300! The vanilla game only goes up to 255. It caps there. So he's higher than the vanilla game can even get your resistances to. So that's pretty good. Alright, well, we're pretty much good. We got that in. That was actually a really convenient time to have an in for a full rest. That was quite nice. Alright, let's do this. Death Gaze. So I still feel like, as much as it was funny going all offense on the train, I still think on Death Gaze, he's known for just doing a ton of damage physically. I forgot to use my silver apple and my golden apple. If Melior dies by 14 HP damage, that's my bad. But yeah, let's use White Robe. We're gonna go double White Robe. No, you're gonna cast Banish. You're gonna cast Null Death, or whatever they call it, and then we're gonna get an extra White Robe. Now, there's a couple options. I could have gone the max HP buffing route. I'm going for the reduced physical damage route. We'll see what happens. Oh, he's got Dispel. Well, that's interesting. That might change things. If that removes all of our buffs, that will affect my plans. Now I'm gonna still try to up my total HP a little bit. We've got at least 1 or 2 layers of physical defense. I don't know if Death Gaze is going to have a lot of magic now. He probably has something, but we'll see. But I still think it's fair to try Stun, even if it's super cheap. Hey, didn't I cast Null Death? Looks like we should have just used Stun from the beginning. Classic. I don't know what we're supposed to... Like, how is that balanced? How is that fair? He's like super hard, final endgame optional boss. All you really need to do is cast Stun on him and you're fine. Oh well. I gave him 1 turn and he killed somebody with death magic. And I take it back, so now I'm not gonna let him live. Ooh, we got some Chocobo music going on. That's fun. I'd still like to get him blind if possible. There, now he's blinded. That's great. I wonder if I can cast Mute on him as well while we're just being mean. Why not, right? Meanwhile, Victus will be doing millions of damage. Stun, blind, muted. Anything else? Want to try slow? You don't really have any special abilities. Is there any... Focus, yeah. Lower his evasion, his natural evasion, so that Victus hits him 25 times. Well, we missed the slow. I don't think I've ever seen Focus hit. I've tried it a few times. As far as I'm aware, it's never hit anything even once. So, that's pretty classic. I'll try Focus again. I mean, you know, why not? He's got 3 status ailments. Why not go for more? No, you just can't get him with Focus. That one's too far. Slow, though. Slow works. So he's blind, he's slow, he might still be paralyzed. Might have burned that off by now. There's not a whole lot of other... Or he's muted, don't forget. That's important. I don't know, maybe he's got magic or something. Any other statuses you want to put on him? Oh, Confuse! We could try Confuse. That's pretty good. Looks like he burned off his stun, but... Can we confuse Death Gaze? Aw, it didn't work. I still don't think we've ever got Focus to hit him. Just so surprising, actually. Maybe just another straight-up stun. Now that we were all buffed up and he does 15 damage. Because he can't cast magic, so all he can do is attack. And we've got all our defenses. Well, there you go. That's Death Gaze. That's easy mode, Death Gaze. Just stun him and blind him. And we got a Lightbringer. Isn't that the same thing we bought at the shop? We got a whole bunch of them. It's not that good. Don't we get like a special treasure for killing him? Ultima Weapon or something? Yeah, Ultima Weapon. Perfect. So, not actually as strong as Ragnarok. That's kind of hilarious. Or Mazmune. You know, it's because we don't have enough HP. Oh, you know what that means? Before we end the episode, I have a cunning plan. So, We need to fight something that's not going to run away from us. So we're going to have to go to, you know what, let's just go to the place we're going to have to go next episode anyway. So we're going to just have a quick little trial here. So the Ultima weapon traditionally did up to 100 your damage, 100 base damage, because your HP capped at 999. That no longer is true. I'm gonna fight. I think these guys could run. I want somebody that's like guaranteed to not run away, so I can do a few turns. Ah, come on. I want like the purple worms. I don't think the purple worms like ever run away. Or undead is classically good. Okay, this is good. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna kill one purple worm, so we take a little bit less damage while we're getting set up. And for the last part of today's episode, you know, because you guys made it like an hour into it, we're gonna test out some buffing here. Alright, so currently at 744 out of 1471, we could get 146, which is a pretty big downgrade, right? Now, it's your current HP, not your maximum, so as we get his maximum higher, we'll have to heal him up to see the actual difference. But we can get away with one Jolt Tonic for that. So how many HP should we go? You might say, Blue, go to 9999. Maybe I will, but maybe I'll save that for Chaos. We'll get Chaos stun locked, and then we'll get Victus up to 10,000 HP. I don't think we've ever gone over 3,000 before. So I'm thinking probably somewhere around 5,000. I don't want to spend terribly long here. And if the worm runs away, I'm going to be very mad. She just paralyzed it so it can't run away. It's fine. We've gained so much HP, he's now into critical status because he should have much higher. This is so silly. Just having some fun. There we go. Alright, one more round with 3 people. Giant's Tonic, and why don't we try to blind the worm so it's... I mean, you know, seeing as this is all about status ailments. Alright, so you can, I mean, while we're doing things, I mean, why don't we just use the Giant's Glove a little bit, and enchant, and haste, and I guess someone should probably heal him, so why don't you go to Jolt Tonic? This stuff's pretty good. Bam, 9999. Also would cure him of status ailments. It's that good. So now if we equip Ultima Weapon, it actually still doesn't do enough damage. Look at this. Its accuracy went up, but 146 is way less than... Maybe this doesn't... Maybe my grand plan here didn't work. Aww, I don't think my strategy worked. Maybe it only counts your true HP rather than your... Well, no, because it used to be tied to your current HP. So if you could somehow get your current HP over 999, it would have gone up, I think. I think that was the idea. Oh well, that's probably all we're going to do for today. Now I'm sad. Alright. Nobody else is allowed to kill the purple worm. We're having a sad time here. I mean, I could have got him up to 9, but it didn't seem to make any difference, did it? Like... I don't know. Sure, we did 7,000 damage. It's impressive. I'm pretty impressed, I guess. Oh. Anyway, that's all for today, folks. I guess I could technically buff his HP up with golden apples and stuff and see if that worked, but I'd rather my Sage had enough HP to survive Chaos when we get there. Oh yeah, you know what? I forgot something else. I was going to test out the Rune Axe. I know we're way over time, but let me just see what it does. We picked up a couple items. In fact, a lot of these things could do something. Like Enhancer, what is it going to do? I think it casts Temper. That's pretty cool. We got an item that can cast Temper. We got Death, Temper, Anti-Magic, Confuse, Thunder, Heal, Life 1, Blind, Ice 2, Cure 2. That one did nothing. I swiped for the save. Protect 2. Mirror Plate casts Protect. I didn't know that. Sage's Miter does nothing. Red Cap does nothing. I mean, this is great. Learning. So many things you can do. I'm not surprised Ribbon does nothing. Rune Axe. I thought it would be Dia. So Rune Axe is... Oh, that's right. It used to be Curaga. And then it got nerfed down to Cura. That's actually not terrible, though. So we've got a couple items that cast Cure 2 for free. Yeah, that's okay. Well, I guess that's it for today's episode. There's nothing else really to talk about. Next episode, we're going to do another run in the Chaos Temple to kill Chaos, because we haven't killed him yet. And I think I'll buy some high potions. But otherwise, we're pretty much all prepped up. There's not much else I would want to do before that. So I'll save that for tomorrow. And that'll be it. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed. And have a great day. Thanks for making it for 1 hour and 10 minutes. That was almost a feature-length movie. See you later.